Stand last word, work, we don't play. DMV heat coming straight your way. No visit to the 757, we ride. Rusty Byrd got the bullpen live.
The Last Word with Rusty Byrd.
We're talking Brentsville District flag football. And we're blessed to have with us today two of the coaches on that staff. One I've known for years, and the other one I've known in a roundabout way through family. So I'm blessed to have with us today head coach Eugene Baltimore of the Brentsville District High School Lady Tigers flag football team. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And then I've got the defensive coordinator and a dear friend from middle school and who I actually played tackle football with back in the day, defensive coordinator, assistant coach Mike Tingen. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, so I have known Coach Tingen since the early 80s, back in the day when we both lived in Newport News. I hadn't actually met Coach Baltimore until I covered the flag football championship a couple of weeks ago, but I've known about him. I played flag football with his cousin, Dennis Baltimore, and I covered his daughter, who replaced him as the head coach of Brentsville District, the girls basketball team there. And if I'm not mistaken, in her very first year, Mike, you're an assistant on that team. In the very first year, she went to states. Right?
Yeah, we went to the state finals, lost to a very good Carroll County team. But, yeah, we were pretty solid that year. We had a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we'll get into that. But first, I just want to get into, I was so excited. So for those who don't know, Prince William County, in addition to, I believe Kettle Run was in your league, right? The one team from Fauquier. We had girls flag football in Prince William County. And it was exciting. It was the first year, and it was sponsored by the Washington Commanders, then you could tell us a little bit more about that, but they had jerseys, they had flags, they played on great fields, and it was very organized with official referees and legit coaches who knew what they were doing. And it was fun. It really was fun to be out there and watch. And I, as a former flag football player, I played high school football, I played youth football tackle, but I had a much longer career playing flag football in men's leagues for close to 20 years, won several Northern Virginia, Fairfax, Maryland championships, played in state championships down in Virginia Beach and Richmond. So I was excited to watch flag football, and I love the growth that it's had beyond just something that youth did or old guys playing. But tell me about this year. I want to know what it took to start from scratch, start a program from nowhere to being undefeated and being the champions. So I'll start with you, Coach Baltimore. Tell me, when did you first even hear about the possibility of there being a team? And then how did you get approached about being the coach?
Well, I heard rumors about is a possibility of us having it. Then I was on a missions trip with my church down in Welch, West Virginia, and then my athletic director, Mr. Cameron, called me and asked me would I like to go ahead and coach the team. And I got back with him probably a day later after thinking about it, and I told him, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Oh, cool. Now, do you work in the building?
Well, I'm retired, but I'm there all the time. I do a lot of subbing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. And so once you said, okay, I'll do it, what was your process from there? Was it, okay, I need to get a staff, I need to just figure out how I'm going to have tryouts, when are we practicing? What were your first steps in forming this team?
Well, after I decided to do it on a mission trip, I was concentrating on a mission trip. And then when I got back, that's when it started really hitting me. What should I do? And first piece is I said, I got to get a coaching staff. And the first person I went to Mr. Cameron about, and I said about Mike. I told him I'd like to have Mike be my assistant because Mike's been with me forever. And so we know each other real well. He's like a brother to me. So I said, who else would I want on the sidelines with me than Mike? And
Yeah.
then once that happened, then I start thinking about the players who can we had, but some players was coming up to me saying they wanted to do it and they were looking forward to it. And, and there's several of them was on the basketball team, like a Natalie Marvin, Riley Coombs, Ava Garza, um, Peyton Brown, and then Aubrey, who's a Division I soccer player. So they reached out to me, and so was my other captain, Sammy Abib. So once those start to trickle in, more and more girls said, "Hey, we'd like to play."
Okay. All right. Now, once you start, did you once you got that kind of core group of athletes, did you still have any type of tryouts? When did
Yeah.
did you did you make announcements in the school?
Yep. Made announcement, and we had our first meeting, and we had close to 30 girls. But then when things was going on, they had to get different things they had to get done. But when we actually went out on the field, we had like 17,
Okay.
and so after discussion, me and Coach Tingen decided to keep all 17,
Okay.
all 17 girls. Uh, Now you look at the other 6A schools, you're hearing rumors of 65, 75 girls trying out.
Wow.
So, us being a small school, with some of these 6A schools that have double, even triple the amount of students, they will have a lot more girls trying out. But
Yeah.
we was happy with our 17.
So in the whole league, they were all 6A except for you and Kettle Run. You were both
Right.
class 3, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Wow. Yeah, and that is a significant difference when I don't know the enrollment at Brentsville, but I know Colgan, my wife works there, and they have close to 3,000 students.
Yeah. And so we knew going into that situation, we have so many other schools that have so many more girls to pick from. They, because they have so many
Yeah.
girls try out. So but we looked at it and knowing that now that the word is out through the school, because more and more girls will probably try out next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I you
bet.
guys' original expectations or hopes for how would you have defined a successful season prior to your very first game or scrimmage or anything? What were your personal, like, man, if we can, win 80% of our games, well, what that would be great. Now you might have told the players something different, but what's kind of I'll ask you, and I'm gonna ask you that same question, Coach Baltimore. What were your original goals or how you would have defined success?
Well, honestly, when we first started talking about it and we, talking about going against other 6A schools, we wanted to make sure that we won at least one game because our thoughts were with all these other schools and all these athletes that they can pick from, they're probably going to be tough and we might struggle with our small numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But even thinking that, we knew, first of all, with our core senior group, that we know these girls super well because, like I said, half or almost all of them play basketball, so we know them really well. We knew that with these seniors, they could take us somewhere if they would just kind of buy into our system, and they
Mm-hmm.
totally did that. And then on top of that, we wanted to make sure that we didn't cut anybody because we knew that we needed to build for the future because this thing's going to explode. It just is.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so we wanted to make sure these young pups were involved too. And so we just kind of went into it saying, let's just do our best. And, the girls really exceeded our expectations. I mean, there was no chance that we thought that we would go undefeated. That was obviously our goal. I think that's everyone's goal going into a season is you want to get to the championship and win it. How realistic is that for some teams? We just didn't know because we're starting from ground zero here. So
Yeah.
we had hopes. I think our hopes are a little bit different than our expectations. And then our expectations were definitely different than the reality of how the season played out.
Okay. All right. Now, a lot of people don't know flag football is a very exciting brand of football, but it is different than tackle. The rules are different, and there's so many different ways you can play flag football. You can play 7-on-7, 8-on-8. You can let some people release, linemen release, some not. Quarterbacks can run in some leagues, some can't. So, what were the general rules of this league? Was it 7-on-7?
Yeah.
Yes.
7-on-7. Okay. And you don't play on a 100-yard field, you play on an 80-yard field, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
And first downs are are marked off 20 yards. It's not 20 yards to a first down, it's getting to that next 20-yard marker.
Correct. Yep.
Yep. So you have the regular midway part of the field, the 50-yard line, but you're only going 40 yards on either side, being able to pick up 2 first downs, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Have either of you ever played flag football? Because I'll tell you, I not only played, but I coached my son's youth flag football teams for years. And we had, I'm not bragging, but for like 6 straight years, I went undefeated and won a championship. Part of it was because my sons were good, but once you're good, like other kids want to play for you, other dads, and then you kind of have that stack team, kind of like freedom football, but the thing that I thought an advantage I had is just the experience. Like, you don't necessarily coach flag the way you coach tackle in terms of understanding strategy and the way you can set people up and do different things. So did either of you have experience playing flag football?
Nah, I've never done that. I played, high school football, but I never played flag. I've seen it and stuff
Okay.
like that, but I never played it.
Yeah, I never played it, but back in the day, I did coach boys flag football. So I had a little bit of experience with that, but just for like a year or two. So I'm not like really in depth. And this was probably, I don't know, 20 years ago. So it's been a minute.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Now, so tell me about your regular season, because you all were undefeated, but tell me, when did you realize, oh, wait a minute, we got something here. We got something.
I would think after our first game at the Commander's Dome, I, I came away from that saying, we got something here. Even though it was our first game, and because I didn't know what to expect. Like what Coach Tingen said earlier, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew we had our starters was solid, but I didn't know until that first game what we really had. And when I came away with that saying, you know what? We had some things to work on, but we can be solid here. I think that we can compete a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
for me, it was probably after like maybe the third game, because that first game was tight. We only won 13-6, but it was
right,
our first game, so we were still learning stuff. And then the next 2 games we played really, really well. We scored a bunch of points. We played great defense. And once I realized that, well, first of all, Natalie Marvin, our quarterback, is just she's so smart, and she has such sports knowledge, right? It's not just football or basketball or softball, but it's sports knowledge, and she just sees things. And so
right,
with her at quarterback, and then the athletes that we had on offense and the athletes that we had on defense, um, I could foresee us having a very, very successful season.
right,
These girls were buying into what we were telling them.
right. And I agree with Coach Tingen on that. As we went on through the season, I knew I had a quarterback. I knew that, with Natalie. But as the season was going on, I said, she's like another coach on the field, and she would see certain things. And then I would sit up and say, did she just do that in a good way? I mean,
Yeah.
that just showed me some things. And then as the season went on, I trusted her more that I even allowed her to call some plays because I
Mm.
said, you know what? I trust her on what she's doing. And sometimes she would come to me before I even see it. I went to call a play and she said, Coach, I got it. I got it. And then she would call the right play. And then I said, okay, okay. But like Coach Tingen said, but we had every one of our girls could catch the football. So that what made us dangerous too.
Mm.
Dangerous because everybody can catch the football. And Natalie
Mm.
did a good job of distributing to everybody. So someone couldn't just say, okay, we need to focus on this player, that player, because everybody can catch it.
Okay. Now, had Natalie ever played flag football? I coached when I coached tackle. I had a young lady who played tackle with us in youth, and she played flag with us in the spring. When she got to high school, she was a very very good lacrosse player. No, yeah,
Right.
lacrosse player. So she didn't play high school tackle football, but she could
Right.
have played. But did any of these young ladies ever play flag football before?
Not to my knowledge. How about you,
Other than
Tingen?
Okay.
Powder Puff,
I was about to
we
say,
played
about
Oh,
Powder
okay.
Puff. Yeah,
Okay, but not like intense, played on a team for a
nah,
season and
not
no,
that I'm
regular
aware.
practices. Okay.
no.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow. And so let's talk about this season. So Coach Tenya, tell us a little bit about the season. What was your record? And then how did a lot of the games go?
So regular season we went 8-0. Then we were able to go undefeated in the playoffs. Obviously, win the championship. So we finished 11-0. Um, I hate to say this sometimes, but I'm bragging on how well the girls played. Is that out of our 11 games, 9 of them, and I said it before, 9 of them we did the mercy rule, which is if you're up by 19 or more with 5 minutes left to go in the game is considered over.
Mm-hmm.
And our, my defensive girls played so well. Um, and I was just so proud of them because I would throw in-game adjustments at them and stuff like that, and they just did a great job of just picking that up and doing exactly what I asked. Um, so the offense and the defense all season long. I mean, they were thinking like we were thinking, and it made it so much easier. Especially because those 5 seniors were always on the field, right? So we couldn't when the offense and the defense was off, we couldn't pull them off and say, well, let's work on this, work on this, work on this. We had to communicate on the fly, and they did such a great job. Just hearing exactly what we said and adjusting exactly the way that we wanted them to adjust.
I,
Okay.
yeah, I agree with that. And we were able to just, like I said, that with Nally running the show, but everybody, I mean, I can call a play and they would know, boom, exactly where to go. I mean, they'll look at their armband. I ain't have to worry about them. They got their self a lot in position. So it's just having that senior leadership out there where they knew what to do.
Okay. Now, you won the championship, and and I know that's going to bring out more athletes next year. How does the VHS sell? How do they? What type of regulations or things do they have? Are they going to allow you all to do a spring league or practice in the spring? Or and then how soon did you start? Did you all actually start after you came to school, or did you have summer practices? How did that work? No two-a-days?
N-
No,
Nah.
we didn't start until it was close to the end of August before we had our interest meeting and then
Oh,
started
okay, okay.
practicing.
Right.
Well after the other fall sports started.
Right.
Um, but like I said, the girls were so excited to play, and they just went out there and just really took in all the information that we had, and even with the few number of practices we had, they were ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, I can
And
tell you. Oh, go ahead, coach.
no, that's what I was saying earlier that I didn't know what to really expect, because we had so few practices and we started and we only had like a couple weeks before our first game. So Yeah. So
Well, as this thing grows, y'all be ready because it's going to become more and more popular and more competitive, and you're going to have people saying, "Hey, why don't you come to my school and play?" Because
mhm.
they offer scholarships now
Yeah.
for women
Yeah.
in
Oh
college
yeah.
to play flag football.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's like Coach Tingen said earlier. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger, and yeah,
It's going to
and
be an Olympic sport.
right, and I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, people come and say, "Hey, won't you come over and play with us?" Or this, that. That stuff is things like that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll wrap up on this particular year and season, but can you all both tell me your personal thing that you liked about this team or this season? It could be one particular moment, or it can be a overall concept or thought. When I say, tell me about this year, we'll start with you, Coach Tingen.
So if you ask all the girls, they'll say playing at the Commander's practice facility. That's what they all say, and they loved it. And that was really cool. I mean, we got to
Yeah.
see some of the former Redskins, a couple of the current Redskins, even Coach Dan Quinn showed up and watched a
Oh,
little
wow.
bit. So that was super exciting.
Yeah.
But for me, for the overall season, it really didn't even have anything to do with flag football. It had to do with the way that these girls uh, supported each other. Like we had girls that hardly ever played, um,
Mhm.
but they would continue to support. We had the older girls kind of taking these younger girls under their wing and teaching them things that they're going to run into next year, things like that. Just the team camaraderie amongst these girls, freshmen all the way up to senior, was something that really stuck out to me um, throughout the whole season.
What about you, Coach Baltimore?
Well, similar to what Coach Tingen said, because what I took away from this is how unselfish everybody was. We had girls show up for practice. We didn't have any girls complaining about playing time. They got
Mm,
along with one another. It wasn't no eyes. And I've coached 30 plus years in different sports, and that's very important. That's very
hmm
important when you have a group that likes each other, plays for each other. We had girls who never, really seen the floor. Field, excuse me. Unless we up big, but they were cheering their teammates on and stuff like that. So, for me to see that and just to see how everybody just rooted for each other and got along, that was the highlight, for me, because you need that type, because
Yeah.
we've all known, you've seen some teams that has all the talent in the world,
Yeah.
but they don't finish because it's a whole lot of division. It's a whole bunch of
Yep.
me's,
Yep.
and and you see that all the time, and you say, man, how talented this team is, but they don't win it because it's too many eyes, and
Yep.
we never had that problem at all.
And I'll say that
Very, very familiar with it.
I'm super happy for all of our seniors. They worked
Mhm.
really hard, and they were the core of our team, and they certainly deserved everything that they got. And it wasn't, even though it may look like it was easy, it wasn't easy. These girls put in some hard work. So I'm super excited for all those seniors to be able to, be the part of the first inaugural season, to be able to win the championship, and something that they'll be able to look back on for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know VHSL uh, has done a lot in terms of the growth of girls sports. Like we have girls that can wrestle now, and you all have had a state champion. I know at
Right.
Brentsville, we
Hmm.
had her on the show. Do you know if the VHSL is going to start to actually sanction and let this thing grow to where you all won this county championship, but maybe even be a part of the VHSL and I don't think they would necessarily still do the regions like class 6, class 4, class 5. Will kind of probably be like we can put a team in and then just divide it by regions. But have you heard of if of that being a potential down the road?
Well, I've talked to my ADs, all the time, and this thing is growing, and I think it's going to continue growing. I think it's going to become a VHSL. It won't be just a
Mhm.
club. I think it's gonna happen. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of
Okay.
time. Just a matter of time. And that's my opinion. And I mentioned that to my AD, and I said, and it's gonna happen because the popularity of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, I appreciate you all talking about this season. That was great. And I want to know a little bit more about you all as individuals, about you as coaches, and as what you're doing off the field. I just think it's interesting to hear, Coach Baltimore, that you're doing mission trips, even though
Absolutely.
you're retired. Let's get to know a little bit more about that. First of all, I want to know how long have you been coaching, Coach Baltimore, and where'd you grow up? Where are you
Uh,
from? Are you from Prince William County originally?
no, I'm not. I grew up in Falls Church, Virginia. Um, and I've been coaching 30 plus years.
Okay.
And have coached some very good players. I've coached multiple sports, and through the grace of God, it's just been a pleasure to be able to coach, and so it's just a blessing.
High school did you go to?
What high school? I went to Manassas Park High School.
Okay. All right. You went to Manassas Park. Wow. All right. And then what sports did you play when you were at Manassas Park?
Football and basketball.
Okay. All right. And Coach Tingen, I know a little bit about your background in athletics. We played on the same team. And I remember those days of playing basketball at the playground. We had some
Yep.
battles with you, Rogar, but we had Leon Wilson, Bo Kelly.
Yeah.
We had some
Your
we had
brother
some nice
plays with us
basketball
some.
games.
Yeah.
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 Remember when we played a neighborhood, like our neighborhood, against the one that had like Lee Martin and Joe
Yep.
Bolden and all those guys, and
Yep.
we beat them.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
But tell me about your athletics growing up.
So I played football my first 2 years of high school, and then I got injured, so I didn't play after that. Um, but it's funny you're mentioning the mission trips and stuff like that because that's how Coach Baltimore and I actually connected. We went to the same church, and I mean I knew of him because he was a very very good basketball player and football player at Manassas Park, so I knew who he was. But like in '96, I think it was, maybe '95, we connected. Um, and then in the late '90s, I was kind of he was out at Rappahannock, and I would come out and watch some of his games, and became an assistant, volunteer assistant when he went to OP to coach the boys. And then when he got the job here in 2000, he asked me if I wanted to be the JV coach, and I was like, yeah. And we've been pretty much together ever since.
That is so cool. Oh
Yeah.
wow. And you all at Brentsville, you coached the girls team, right, Coach Baltimore?
Yep, yep. But I also coach boys too, because when I first
Oh, okay.
started at Brentsville, the girls' season was in the fall,
Well,
I remember. I
and
used
then
to ref girls in the fall. Yes.
yeah, and then boys, and so I would coach girls in the fall, be a head coach, and then be an assistant boys coach in the winter.
That's right, because single A and double A were playing in
Mhm.
the fall. Now, triple A girls still played in the regular season in the winter
No,
back then, right? I think triple A girls didn't they were the only ones playing in the winter, if I'm
I
not
think so.
mistaken.
I
I think
think
it was
so.
just single and double A, which was a
Right,
little weird because if you go,
right,
I remember just at Bethel when I was there, the boys
right,
and girls played, but then I think Tab and York and them they were
right,
playing in the fall.
right,
But when I was officiating that in the beginning,
right.
that's how it was. Okay, all right. Now, what would you say besides this season has been your greatest experience as a coach or an athlete? Is it something you would go back to, Coach Baltimore, as a player? It could be youth football, or it could be a coaching moment, or it could be What? Yes, something that you maybe being an assistant somewhere. But what would you say was your individual greatest experience in athletics?
Mm. As a player, I mean, Little Old Manassas Park, we would beat up on, and back then they were 3A schools. And, we would beat several of those 3A schools. Um, you know, winning district championships and stuff like that. Um, just being able to be 3-time General Messenger Player of the Year, you know, uh,
Wow. And what
yeah,
sport?
and basketball.
Oh
Uh,
wow. Okay, you had some
and
game.
yeah, so I made all state in both football and basketball my senior year. And I had a full ride to West Virginia University for football. Um, and I had offers, D1 offers for basketball. Um, so I had a good run at Little Old Manassas Park
Wow.
as a player. Um, as coaching, it's so many memories, good memories, but what I can say is I don't really want to look look at all at me. I just want to thank all the players that I was able to coach, the relationships that I built
Yeah.
with a lot of those players over the years. And and I can throw some at, that, and I really don't want to name some of them because I don't want to, you know, miss anybody or something like that. But it's been a lot of players, that I've coached that I'm real still close to today. That has families and stuff like that. But also, I could tell you, not only with my high school that I really enjoyed coaching, but I was able to coach 10 years in college.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. At CNU, uh, Christopher Newport
Yeah, yeah.
for
We
three
know that. Mike
years.
is now from the Newport News.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the thrill with me is when we went to the Final Four. And one of the better players to ever come out at Brentsville, Kimmy Hopkins, I was able to coach her in high school, but also was able to coach her at college because she decided to go to CNU, Crystal
Okay.
Newport. And just to go to that Final Four
Yeah.
was just an awesome, awesome experience. And then I left there and went to Eastern Mennonite, which I was able to coach with a very good friend of mine, Kevin Griffin. Uh,
Hmm.
so that, just the coach at the college level,
Yeah, yeah.
to experience that, it was awesome too. So, um, yeah. So, and I still hold those great friends of the day, from college. Coach Hunter for giving me the opportunity at Christopher Newport. Kevin Griffin's like my brother. Eric Payne is like my brother. And and eBay, Dennis and all those, that I still stay in contact with on a consistent basis. I just got off the phone with eBay just when I got on with you guys. So just to build that friendship, that lasting friendship that's still going strong today.
All right. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I love the relationship that we have with players, especially in the past. I mean, we still have a great everyday talking relationship with some of the girls that we coached back in 2000 when we first got here.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one of the players that we had in 2000, their daughter just graduated from Brentsville and played basketball last year. So
Wow.
keeping up those relationships is super super special for me. But on the floor, it has to be going to the state finals. I mean, that was just it was so cool for the girls. It's so cool for us coaches just to go through that process, to be able to go down there and coach. We had some big wins against some teams that we struggled to win against, like Meridian and stuff like that. We
Meridian. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
faced semis that year. That was a big win for us. Um, And then the next year we were able to win the first regional final in Brentsville girls basketball history. Um, so those seeing the girls reach those levels and just the hard work they put in, the joy on their face at the end of the day when they do those types of things. Those are the types of things that I remember. It's not the actual on the court stuff. It's the off the court stuff. It's the goofy stuff they do. It's the way they make us laugh. It's the way they laugh at us. We don't necessarily make them laugh. They just laugh at us because we're old or whatever. But those types of things are the things that I remember and love about coaching these young ladies at this school. It's just been a really, really special opportunity that I feel blessed to have.
Ooh,
Hey,
let me
Rusty.
ask. Yes.
I'm sorry. Can I add something just real quick onto that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I see that back there with your AAU. I see that trophy back there behind you.
Yep.
You know how tough it is in AAU.
Yeah.
And I coached Elevate Elite with Bruno. And 2 years ago, we won the national championship. And that
Wow.
just came to my mind right there because, to win a national championship and beating the top teams from all over the country,
Yeah.
just experience that and now, you know what? To see those girls playing at the Division 1 level. I'm watching them on ESPN Plus, and I can
Yeah.
throw that. I'm gonna throw a little bit in there. And Kylie, who's starting at both of them as freshmen, starting at Cincinnati. I
Mm.
got my girl Sanaa Green, who's I'm very close with. She committed to Duke.
Mm.
Yeah, and and I know I'm missing some. Logan Greer, 6'4" wing, who's starting at Colorado as a freshman.
Mm.
Mir Anderson starting at Boston College as a freshman. I mean, just having all those girls. I just was watching before we got on there, Kayla Washington, who she plays along with. They played UVA tonight. I mean, I can go on and on about the different girls on that team that it was just so exciting to be able to
Yeah.
coach those girls and just I could still see it, us winning that national championship.
That is amazing. Yes.
And in that locker room spraying and
Yeah.
knowing how tough it is to win a national championship at the highest level. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
That is cool. I'm glad you were able to remember and share that story. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's the type of thing folks don't know. I'm sure people don't know again about your great career as an athlete yourself.
Mhm.
And then I didn't even know that Coach Tingen, how long he had been with you or been the
Mhm.
JV head coach. That's some good stuff, man. Really good.
Mhm.
Oh
Right.
man. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I want to now transition to stuff that's outside of sports. What you told us a little bit of some things you do, but what would you say? What is something? I'm gonna find something. What do you if you're not doing if you're not coaching, if you're not watching the game or coaching the game? What does Coach Tingen like to do with his free time?
A lot of times you just find me watching good games on TV, whether it's basketball or football or soccer, volleyball. I mean, I watch just about anything, and if it's a good game, I'm enjoying it. I love to hang out with my son. He's 23. He's actually on the coaching staff now. He was a volunteer last year. He's gonna be paid this year. And he's just sucking in all the information because he would like to ultimately be, a head coach at the high school level someday. So I love talking to him about basketball and things like that. Um, I love going to church, hanging out with my buddies. We have a bunch of Balt and I have a bunch of refing friends that we ref youth leagues together and stuff like that. And we like to go out and hang out. We get wings. We'll go to a football game. We'll go to a good basketball game. Maybe even a tournament on the weekend. We try to go down to the BHS State basketball tournament every year, and we have a great time.
Yep.
So that's the kind of stuff that I do off the court.
All right. What about you, Coach Baltimore? What do you like to do?
Well, I do a lot of reffing. And like Mike said, some of the guys, you build that bond with. I've rep with Tingen before too, but my guys like Colton Thurston and Rudy Allen and DJ Mayo and people like that, and Dan Maury, we formed a brotherhood. And just getting out there and repping with those guys and spending time with each other, and like Mike said, we go to games together, we go to tournaments together, and just doing that stuff is just a lot of fun. But also by me getting back, I love the Lord, and me, like Mike said earlier, me and him used to go on several missions trips years ago.
Wow.
And by me getting back into it, I went to Welch, West Virginia this past summer, and just what an awesome experience it was. So doing stuff like that in my church and things, it's just sharing the love of the Lord, and because we all blessed
Absolutely.
what God has given us each and every day. And my goal is to continue to live my life for him and stuff like that. So those are the things I, like to do. But I also like to watch a good game too now, especially the girls game, college girls,
Yeah.
women's basketball. I really into that.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna have to all get together, and y'all include me in one time when y'all gonna go to a game, because you clearly I love sports. That's me too. I just want to be there. I'll go by myself, but I love to go with friends and the fellowship and everything. But
Definitely.
also outside of sports, I'm very active in my church. I very very active in prison ministry. I started a youth sports. I started coached a lot of youth sports. Started the first cross country program in Prince William County, and then I've had adult men's and co-ed softball, basketball, flag football. I started Team Jesus, and it's
Right.
a ministry, but playing sports for adults and for youth. So I'm right there. With you. And that's the thing I love about my new show. But the last word is we're not gonna be afraid to talk about the Lord or how we've been blessed or any of that.
Amen.
You
Amen.
know?
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you all have really blessed us. My last thing we'll do is I want to ask you all now, I don't know if you even have time to do this, but what would you say is your favorite movie of all time? Or do you like movies? And if you don't, is there anything that you like to watch, like that you're streaming or you like to watch on Netflix? Because like my wife and I, we both have busy schedules, but we love to sit down and sometimes watch Netflix and watch some of these little six-parters with a mystery here or there. I always love a good sports movie, but yeah, this Netflix stuff, man, my wife and I are really into it. But what is there a movie you have, Coach Baltimore, that's your favorite of all time? And I'll give you mine. So I'm
Right.
a big fan of Hoop Dreams,
Right.
the documentary about two young players, Arthur Agee and oh gosh, I don't know why. William Gates in Chicago. They were like class of 90 or 91 in high school, but it started from them and being in middle school and went through their college careers. And that was the guy who actually did that documentary is from Hampton, Virginia, and played high school basketball at Hampton
Oh
Right.
in
wow.
the 70s. Yeah, and I didn't know that until I saw a documentary about that. But anyway, that's my favorite movie of all time. But do either of you have a favorite movie or TV show?
You want to go here first, Mike?
Uh, yeah, sure. So anything really that's a crime drama is something I'm going to be watching. I love the crime dramas. I probably watch too much TV because there's so many of them on, and I don't want to miss any of them because they're always so good. As far as the movie goes, my favorite movie is Hoosiers. I
Oh,
love
dude,
that
Oh,
movie.
who's this?
I've watched that
that used
movie
to it's right
a
there.
million
Yeah.
times.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
That's
I'll
awesome.
turn it on and fall asleep by it.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
that's like
Yeah.
my go-to. I like Glory Road. That's another good basketball movie
Right.
about the '66 um,
Right.
Texas Western kid
Yep.
Right.
that won it all against Kentucky. That's a great one. But yeah, if I had to pick my number one, it's definitely Hoosiers.
That's right there. That would be
Right.
like my one A, B, and C. And the
Right.
other one I
Right.
would throw in because they're from right here. I know people that played on the
Right.
team, and that's Remember the Titans.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah,
So good.
that's something too.
So good.
Yeah, man. I should have went first because Mike just hit some of the things I'm talking about. But when I hit first, like me and my wife, we love watching Christmas movies. That's something that we love
Oh,
to do.
hey, he loves the Hallmark Channel. Let me
Yeah,
just throw that out there.
hey, ain't
He's a
no
Hallmark
shame.
Channel
Hey, ain't no shame in my game. I love.
Let's keep it real with Lifetime, son. Come on now.
Hey,
guy.
yeah. So
How about gonna have a happy ending?
yeah. So the thing is, spending time with my wife, and they would just
Yeah,
sit down and watch Christmas movies. But I also like I said, Hoosiers, those basketball movies. But Hoosiers is awesome. It's tough.
yeah,
But I tell you one thing, there's something about Glory Road
yeah,
that back in the day that when Don Haskins, the pressure he must have been on, we don't realize it, the pressure he was on to
Yeah.
play black players,
yep.
and for him to go out and start five black players against legendary Rupp,
Yeah.
and
Adolph
for
Rupp.
To
them
Kentucky,
to
yeah,
for them to pull off that upset, it has to go down. I don't care what anybody say, probably the greatest victory in sports history because
yeah,
what magnitude
yeah.
of it, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. That is great. That's good stuff. Man, y'all have really blessed my audience. That is great information. I know that people know a little bit more now than they knew before. I know I've learned a lot. Coach Baltimore, what
Yeah.
years were you at Manassas? Did you graduate? When did you graduate from Manassas Park?
1987.
Okay, so we're all the same age, same
Yeah.
grade. We all
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
came out in
graduated in
'87.
87 from
Yeah.
then Stonewall, now Unity Reed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
and before we go out, I'd like to get a shout out to the people in my school, like Dr. Mines, Dr. Salas, Mr. Carbo. If I said Dr. Salas, I meant Dr. Mines, Miss Salas, Mr. Carbo, and my athletic directors, Mr. Cameron and Mr. Kearns. I tell you, they've always been very supportive. Uh, and I appreciate all they do at Brentsville. Um, they just great people, and I enjoy working for them. So
And I will
That's
say one
great.
thing regarding the shout out. We did have one loss this season,
yes.
flag football.
Mm-hmm.
We had our girls go up against 9 or 10 male players,
Okay.
and they beat us 14-13. So that was our
Oh,
one loss this season because Mr. Cameron and Mr. Kearns were not letting him forget that. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that we did have one loss. Wasn't an official loss, but the men did beat our
okay.
teenage girls 14-13, and they brag about it all the time.
Yeah. Hey, but I give our girls credit because they battled these grown
They
men.
did.
And
They
here
did.
they go, 6'3" receivers and stuff like making one-handed catches and stuff like that. I told my girls, we ain't gonna face nobody like that.
Like that,
They
right?
They're
got a
doing that
2-point
stuff.
conversion and beat us 14-13.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
yeah.
but
So
just imagine if you beat them. You could talk
They never would have
forever.
heard the end of it.
They
yeah.
never would have heard the end of it.
Yeah. So
But
but
look, this
yeah.
is what you can do. You can play those same guys every year, and I'm gonna tell you, you'll get them because this is the thing I learned. And when somebody told me this when I started reffing back in the late '90s, they said, and I was in my late '20s, '30s. They said this is the thing. Every year you gonna get older, but every year you're reffing 15, 16, 17, 18-year olds. So as I get older and slower, they don't stop. So if those same guys keep playing your girls, you'll eventually get them.
I don't know
Right.
if they'll do it again because half of them walked away with injuries, and the next day
Right.
in school they
Right.
were
That's what I'm
limping
saying.
around, bad
But
hips and bad
hey,
knees and everything.
Rusty, even though they beat us by one, we got the victory because we were able to walk in school the
Of
next day.
course. Here you go.
They were
Exactly.
limping, and having ice packs and heating pads and
They said they'd
Yes.
never do it again.
yeah. So
Yeah. Well, then you did get the victory.
oh yeah,
Yep.
like Mr. Cameron. What happened? Oh, he's an athletic man. I give him credit, but boy, he went down he went down like minutes into the scrimmage, and there he is sitting over on the sidelines, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yep. Here we go. Good stuff.
but
Good
but
stuff.
it was all fun though, you know.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, man. That's what
Yeah,
it's all about. Yeah.
right.
Well, next
Yeah.
year, if you put a team together of of older men and you need somebody to play against your ladies, I was a flag football legend here in Northern Virginia, but for 20
All right,
some
we
years.
got you.
I used to run the option at high school at Bethel, and I ran the option in flag football for years. But then as I got older and had all my injuries, like those guys, I became a Dan Marino. I just sit in the pocket and try to hit you on slants.
Hey, but you
But
know
it's
what?
like boom, timer routes.
But you know, when you say that name, when you say that school, Bethel, I think about AI. That's
Yeah,
what I think
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
AI,
Yep,
you
yep.
know, and stuff like that. So, and last thing when I went up there, Ronald Curry. I know you know that,
Yeah.
Rusty.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
What I tell you something. Not only was he a fantastic athlete, but so respectful. I remember down at the state tournament. He probably never remember this. He sat there and talked with me for about 20 minutes, and we
Wow.
just sat there and talked. And I know. See, when you ask me that question about things coming around, when you sit there and think about it, things will come back to your mind. And Coach Tingen remember this when we always took our girls to UNC
Yep.
for team camp. Mike was always with me, but that one time he wasn't with me. We were
I
going
think
through
I
the
was
tunnel.
coaching.
Yeah, he was coaching. I'm going through the tunnel at the Dean Dome, and who comes walking in there? Legendary Dean Smith.
Whoa.
He talked to me for about 25 minutes, just me and him, one on
What?
one, just talking
Wow.
basketball. What a memory.
Yes, no doubt. Oh, I know that was great.
Oh,
Back
my
then, wish you had a cell phone with a camera in it back
Oh,
then.
100%.
let me tell
Yes,
you.
yes.
And then when I told Mike, because Mike is a UNC nut, he
I'm a
couldn't believe it.
huge UNC fan. I was
Man,
I was hot.
he was hot. And you know what, Rusty? Through that tunnel, UNC was very huge with camps. It'd be like 90 plus teams there. So girls be coming in and out of the tunnel constantly. This had to have been God because when I went through that tunnel, I'm used to seeing girls that's coming in and out of the tunnel. Nobody was in that tunnel for 25 minutes. It was just me and Dean Smith.
Mm, mm.
And I was like,
Wow.
wow,
I know that was
wow.
that was a blessing to have that time with him, man.
Oh my goodness. He was very nice and he just sat and talked with me and just asked me about our school and everything, man. And I had to bring out the Michael Jordan and the shot. We were just
Yeah.
laughing. Even though that hurt my heart because it beat my
Right,
Hoyas.
because he's a
Yeah,
Georgetown
I
fan.
know. Right, right.
yeah. So, but man, listen, this is the blessing that you allowed us to come on your show, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah. No, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. I'll tell you what, let's do this.
Mhm.
We'll go ahead. Like I said, my show is not first take because anybody can give a first take, but it's about the last word. So we'll start with you, Coach Tingen. Give us your last word.
I'll just say over these last 25 years, being able to coach the young ladies at this particular school, which has been so supportive, I just, like I said before, I cherish the relationships that I have with these ladies. Sometimes with their kids that are coming through now and stuff like that. Being able to talk to these kids about how their moms played and stuff like that. It's so much fun. It makes my heart happy, and I cherish those moments off the floor even more than the ones on the floor. I mean, even though we made it to the state finals, that was awesome. But having conversations with these young ladies off the floor, those things are the things that I cherish. Being able to, just talk to them about things, and then, some of them telling me that, I look up to you like a second dad or something like that.
Yeah.
That almost brings tears to my eyes because I'm the one who's blessed to have these young ladies in my life,
Right.
not the other way around. So,
Right. hmm And for
Coach
me,
Baltimore, your last word.
yeah, just the longevity that the Lord has given me to coach not only young men, but young ladies. And to see seeing them now being parents and stuff like that, it's just amazing, and just, and all the coaches that I've coached with that, we just had that relationship with, and one more thing I want to shout, like Coach Tingen said, we built relationships with so many people, and some of the people also with coaches that you give a shout out to, but I also want to give shout out to one of the ladies that has been special to me, or as me being a coach, with Sarah Yergy. She, she was just, her and her husband Tad and all them, they was just, you have a lot of people who support you as parents and stuff, but they went beyond. And I just want to give a shout out to them. I love them, and they're great people. And we've had other people, it's helped out, but I just made sure I give a shout out to them because, they was awesome. And Coach Tingen can probably, echo that too. Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you. And I'll just say my last word is thank you all. Thank you all for what you've done in the Brentsville District community, but also just Prince William County for so long. And it sounds like you're doing it the right way. You're putting Christ first, and then that impacts how you take your next steps. And I've used my platform as a coach or as a work in the community, even with this show, that even if I don't, say the name of Jesus Christ, that hopefully somebody has seen that in me. And so, in fact, I remember, people seeing on the schedule, we're going to be playing Team Jesus. Aha, we should beat them, and we crush them. We just crush them. But I like that you're able to minister through sports, and I can tell that, and I'm sure my audience can. So that's my last word. Thank you for what you're doing in the community. Keep it up. Even if you guys didn't win one game this year in flag football, I know you would have been blessing to those players and to the community. So for Coach Mike Tingen, for Coach Eugene Baltimore, this is Rusty Byrd with the last word. We are.
DMV heat coming straight your way. No visit to the 757. We ride. Rusty Byrd got the bullpen live.